The approaching Storm Commander Vexstar stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Crimson Talon, watching the blue marble of Earth grow larger through the viewscreen. His four eyes gleamed with anticipation as he surveyed the tactical displays surrounding him. After months of planning, the moment had finally arrived. The Krillian Empire's third battle fleet hung in space behind him like a steel constellation. 200 warships ready to claim the most valuable prize in the galaxy. "Status report," Vexstar commanded, his voice carrying the authority of someone who had conquered 15 worlds in the past decade. Lieutenant Zarath, his tactical officer, consulted her instruments with growing confusion. "Commander, the readings are ... unusual. Earth appears to have no defensive installations whatsoever. No orbital platforms, no weapon satellites, no shield generators. There are only civilian vessels in the area." Vexstar's mandibles clicked in. Disbelief. Earth was the crown jewel of human civilization, their homeworld and the center of their growing influence in galactic politics. Every intelligence report confirmed that humans had been expanding their presence throughout the galaxy for the past century. Yet their most precious world sat defenseless in the void. "Perhaps it's a trap," suggested Commander Kethra, his second in command. "Humans are known for their unpredictable tactics. What trap could possibly work against a fleet of this size?" Vexstar replied, "Run the scans again. Check for cloaked vessels, hidden weapons, anything that might explain this mystery." As the scanning beams swept across Earth's orbital space, they detected only what appeared to be normal civilian traffic. Cargo haulers moved between the planet and nearby asteroid mining operations. A few diplomatic vessels from various species hung in standard parking orbits. There was even what looked like a small tour ship filled with young beings from multiple species, probably on some kind of educational exchange program. "Commander," Communications Officer Velan interrupted, "we're receiving a transmission from the planet's surface. It's on standard diplomatic frequencies." "Put it through," Vexstar ordered. The main screen flickered to life, revealing a human woman sitting in what appeared to be a simple office. She had dark hair streaked with silver and wore the blue uniform of Earth's diplomatic corps. Her expression was calm, almost friendly, as if she were greeting old friends rather than facing an invasion fleet. "Good afternoon," she said with a warm smile. "I'm Captain Elena Rodriguez, Earth's Director of Interstellar Relations. I assume you're Commander Vexstar of the Krillian Third Fleet. We've been expecting you." Vexstar's eyes narrowed. "Expecting us? How is that possible?" "Word travels fast in diplomatic circles," Elena replied casually. "Your fleet's movements have been tracked by various observers throughout the sector. We know you're here to attempt a conquest of Earth." "Attempt?" Vexstar's voice rose. "There will be no attempt, human. Your world is defenseless. We demand your immediate and unconditional surrender." Elena's smile never wavered. "I'm afraid that's not possible, Commander. Earth cannot surrender because Earth is not actually at risk." "Ridiculous." Vexstar slammed his fist on the command console. "We have 200 warships. Your planet has no defenses." "That's where you're mistaken," Elena said gently. "Earth has the most sophisticated defense system in the galaxy. We call it the Terran Network." "I see no network," Lieutenant Zarath reported after checking her instruments again. "No energy signatures, no defensive installations, nothing." Elena nodded thoughtfully. "That's because you're looking for the wrong kind of defense. Tell me, Commander, what powers your life support?" "Systems." Vexstar frowned at the seemingly random question. Standard atmospheric processors and recycling units. What does that have to do with anything? And your ship's navigation systems, your faster-than-light communications array, your quantum tunneling, drive, all standard technology. Vexter replied impatiently. Human, your stalling tactics will not work. We will take your world by force, if necessary. Alina leaned forward slightly, her expression becoming more serious. Commander, I'm going to give you some advice. Contact your fleet's chief engineer and ask him to run a full diagnostic on all critical systems. Pay particular attention to the maintenance signatures and design protocols. This is absurd, Vextar muttered, but something in Elena's tone made him pause. Zarath, contact Chief Engineer Mordek. Have him run the diagnostics, the human suggested. While they waited for the engineering report, Alina continued speaking. The Terran network isn't a weapon system, Commander. It's something far more elegant and infinitely more effective. For the past 80 years, human engineers have been the galaxy's most sought-after specialists in complex system integration and maintenance. So, Vextar demanded. So we've been invited to work on nearly every major project in known space. Shipyards, space stations, planetary infrastructure, even military vessels. We've helped design and maintain the critical systems that keep galactic civilization running. Vexter was about to respond when Chief Engineer Mordek's voice crackled. Through the communication system. Commander, I've completed the diagnostic. The results are disturbing. Explain, Vexter ordered. Sir, our atmospheric processors contain 17 separate components designed by human engineers. Our navigation system uses a quantum calculation matrix developed by Terran scientists. Even our weapons targeting systems incorporate algorithms written by human programmers. The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. Elena's voice filled the quiet space. Every major civilization in the galaxy relies on human engineering expertise, Commander. We've made ourselves indispensable not through conquest, but through cooperation. That still doesn't explain how this defends your world, Vextar said. Though his voice lacked its earlier confidence, Elena's smile returned, but now it seemed less friendly and more knowing. Because, Commander, every human engineer in the galaxy is connected to the Terran network. We share information instantaneously. When Earth is threatened, every human, engineer, technician, and programmer in known space receives an immediate alert. And then what? Vextar demanded. Then they remember that their first loyalty is to Earth, Alina replied simply. They remember that they're not just employees or contractors. They're guardians of humanity's homeworld. As if summoned by her words, alarms began sounding throughout the Crimson Talon. Emergency lights bathed the bridge in red as systems started failing one by one. Commander, Mordek's voice was panicked. We're experiencing cascade failures across multiple systems. Life support is down to 60% efficiency. The navigation array is completely offline. Even the food processors have stopped working. Vextar stared at the view screen where Alina sat calmly, her hands folded in her lap. What have you done? Nothing at all, Alina replied. But I should mention that there are currently 2.3 million human engineers working throughout the galaxy. They maintain everything from asteroid mining equipment to the central computer systems on major space stations. When they received word that Earth was under threat, they implemented what we call the Terran Protocol, which is complete withdrawal of human technical support from any civilization that threatens Earth. Your ships, your stations, your planets, They all depend on systems that humans have designed, built, or maintained. Without our continued cooperation, those systems will fail within hours. Lieutenant Zareth looked up from her console, her face pale. Commander, I'm receiving reports from throughout the fleet. Every ship is experiencing similar failures. The other commanders are requesting immediate assistance. But this is impossible, Vextar protested. You're saying that humans have infiltrated every major civilization in the galaxy? Not infiltrated, Alina corrected. Invited. We've been welcomed with open arms because we're good at what we do. We solve problems, we improve efficiency, we make life better for everyone. The galaxy needs us. This is blackmail, Vextar accused. This is survival, Alina replied. Not just for Earth, but for galactic civilization as a whole. You see, Commander, the Terran network isn't just a defense system. It's a peacekeeping mechanism. When every major power depends on human technical expertise, it becomes impossible for any one civilization to dominate the others. More alarms sounded as additional systems failed. The lights on the bridge flickered, and Vextar could hear the subtle change in the air recycling system that indicated their life support was struggling. Asterisk. How long do we have? He asked quietly. Alina consulted something off-screen. At current failure rates, approximately 6 hours before life support becomes critical. Of course, that's assuming no additional systems fail in the meantime. Vextar looked around at his bridge crew. These were hardened warriors who had faced death countless times, but now they looked frightened. They were dying not from enemy fire, but from the simple withdrawal of technological support. What do you want? He asked. Nothing, Alina replied. We're not conquerors, Commander. We never were. We're builders, fixers, problem solvers. All we want is to continue doing what we do best, making life better for everyone in the galaxy. And if we withdraw, then human engineers throughout the galaxy will restore full support to your systems. Your ships will be repaired, your crew will be safe, and you'll be welcome to return to Krillian space with a story that will hopefully prevent other civilizations from making the same mistake. Vextar stared at the view screen, his mind racing. In all his years of conquest, he had never encountered anything like this. Humans had created a defense system that was invisible, untouchable, and absolutely devastating. This changes everything, he whispered. Alina nodded. It was meant to. The galaxy is too dangerous a place for any one species to dominate, but it's also too wonderful a place for us to waste time fighting each other. The Terran network ensures that cooperation is more profitable than conquest. As if to emphasize her point, the lights dimmed again, and the bridge temperature began to drop. Noticeably, asterisk. The network awakens, the Crimson Talon shuddered, as another critical system failed. Vextar watched his crew scramble to maintain basic functions, while Alina Rodriguez continued to sit calmly on the view screen, her expression patient but firm. Commander, Chief Engineer Mordok's voice crackled through the deteriorating communication system. I've identified the source of our problems. Every critical system on this ship contains what appears to be standard maintenance protocols, but they're all connected to a master authentication network. Explain, Vextar demanded, though he was beginning to understand the scope of what they faced. Sir, when our systems try to run their regular maintenance cycles, they send authentication requests to verify that the maintenance is authorized. These requests are being denied by what I can only describe as a central authority. Elena's voice filled the bridge. That would be the Terran network, Commander. Every piece of technology that humans have worked on contains a small but essential component that requires periodic authentication. It's a safety measure designed to prevent unauthorized modifications or hostile takeovers of critical systems. You've sabotaged our ships, Vextar accused. Not sabotaged, Alina corrected. Protected. The same systems that are failing now have been running smoothly for years because human engineers have been maintaining them. We've simply withdrawn our support. Lieutenant Zareth looked up from her console, her expression grim. Commander, I'm receiving similar reports from across the galaxy. It's not just our fleet. Every major space station, every planetary defense grid, every commercial shipping lane, they're all experiencing the same cascading failures. That's impossible, Vexter protested. The galaxy is too large for any one species to have that kind of influence. Alina smiled sadly. You're still thinking like a conqueror, Commander. Let me show you something. The view screen split, with Elena's image shrinking to one corner while a galactic map appeared. Thousands of points of light marked human inhabited systems, but more importantly, millions of smaller indicators showed human technical installations throughout known space. 83 years ago, Alina began, humanity made a decision. We could either try to build an empire like so many species before us, or we could build something better. We chose to become indispensable. The map zoomed in on various sectors, showing the intricate web of human technical support that connected civilizations across the galaxy. Mining operations on vegan worlds used human-designed or processors. Andromedan space stations relied on human-built life support systems. Even the proud Krillian Empire's own shipyards incorporated human engineering principles. We didn't conquer worlds, Alina continued. We fixed them, we improved them, we made them more efficient, more comfortable, more prosperous, and in return we were welcomed not as overlords, but as partners. Vextar studied the map with growing horror. The scope of human integration into galactic civilization was staggering. This is a conspiracy, he whispered. This is cooperation, Alina replied firmly. Every project we've worked on has been requested by the civilizations we've helped. Every system we've designed has been built with their approval and participation. We've never forced our technology on anyone, but you've made them dependent on you, Vextar accused. We've made them dependent on cooperation, Alina corrected. The Terran network doesn't just benefit humanity, it benefits everyone. When civilizations work together instead of fighting each other, everyone prospers. As if to demonstrate her point, the map highlighted several sectors where conflicts had been resolved through human mediation. Former enemies now worked together. On joint projects, their prosperity built on shared technology and mutual dependence. Commander Mordak's voice interrupted. I'm detecting incoming vessels, multiple ships approaching from various vectors. Reinforcements, Vextar asked hopefully. Negative, sir. They're not Krillian vessels. I'm reading ships from at least a dozen different species, all converging on our position. Elena's expression became more serious. Those would be the local peacekeepers, Commander. When the Terran network detects a threat to Earth, it doesn't just withdraw technical support. It also sends an alert to every human engineer in the galaxy. They, in turn, notify their colleagues and employers, and Vexter demanded. And it turns out that most civilizations have a vested interest in keeping Earth safe. Not because they fear us, but because they depend on us. If Earth were to be destroyed, it would cripple the galaxy's technological infrastructure. The tactical display updated to show the approaching vessels. They weren't warships, but rather a mixture of civilian craft, scientific vessels, and diplomatic ships. All bore the insignia of different civilizations, but all carried the same message. The galaxy would not allow Earth to be harmed. "This is madness," Vexter muttered. "This is evolution," Elena replied. "The galaxy has moved beyond the age of conquest, Commander. We've entered an era of cooperation. The Terran network is just the beginning." As the temperature on the bridge continued to drop, Vextar felt the weight of his situation settling on his shoulders. His mighty fleet was helpless, not because of weapons or shields, but because humanity had made itself too valuable to attack. "What happens now?" he asked. Quietly, Elena's expression softened. "That depends on you, Commander. You have a choice. You can continue to view this as a defeat, or you can see it as an opportunity." "What kind of opportunity?" "The Krillian Empire is technologically advanced, but you've spent so much time on conquest that you've neglected innovation, your people. Our warriors, but they could be so much more. The Terran network is always looking for new partners, new perspectives, new ways to solve problems. You're offering us membership in your network. I'm offering you a chance to be part of something bigger than any empire," Elena replied. "The galaxy is full of wonders waiting to be discovered, problems waiting to be solved, and adventures waiting to be lived. But only if we work together." Vexter looked round at his crew. They were still proud Krillian warriors, but they were also dying slowly as their ship's systems failed around them. "And if we refuse, then you'll be towed back to Krillian. Space by the rescue vessels that are already en route," Elena said. "Your crew will be safe, your ships will be repaired enough to get you home, and you'll be free to return to your old ways. But you'll do it without human technical support, which means your civilization will stagnate while the rest of the galaxy moves forward. You'll become increasingly isolated as other species form partnerships and share technology. Eventually, you'll either be forced to join the network or be left behind entirely." The implications were staggering. Vexter realized that humanity hadn't just created a defense system, they had created a new form of civilization itself, one based on mutual dependence and shared prosperity rather than domination and conquest. Commander Velen reported, "The rescue vessels are hailing us. They're offering immediate life support assistance." Vextar stared at the view screen, his mind racing. In the space of a few hours, everything he had believed about power and conquest had been turned upside down. The humans had won without firing a single shot, not through strength, but through indispensability. "There's one more thing you should know," Elena said quietly. "This wasn't really an invasion attempt." "What?" Vextar's 4 eyes focused on her in confusion. "The Galactic Council has been watching your empire for years, Commander. They were concerned about your expansionist policies and the threat you posed to galactic stability. When they learned you were planning to attack Earth, they saw an opportunity." "An opportunity for what?" "An opportunity for what?" "To demonstrate the futility of conquest in the modern galaxy. The Council contacted us months ago and asked if we would be willing to let you attack Earth, knowing that the Terran network would protect us and hopefully teach you a valuable lesson." Vextar felt a chill that had nothing to do with the failing life support systems. "You knew we were coming." "We've known for 3 months," Elena confirmed. "We've been preparing not for war, but for education. The galaxy has moved beyond the age when conflicts are resolved through violence. Commander, we've entered an era where cooperation is the only path to survival. And if I had refused to learn this lesson," Elena's expression became grave, "then the galaxy would have learned a different lesson, that some civilizations are too dangerous to be allowed to continue their expansion. The Terran network isn't just a defense system, Commander. It's also a way to ensure that aggressively expansionist civilizations face consequences for their actions. The full scope of humanity's strategy became clear to Vexstar. They hadn't just created a defense system, they had created a mechanism for galactic peace. By making themselves indispensable to every major civilization, they had created a situation where aggression was self-defeating. So what happens now? Vexstar asked. Now you decide, Elena replied. You can return to Krillian space with a story about the humans who defeated a battle fleet without firing a shot. You can tell your people about a new way of living that offers prosperity instead of conquest. Or you can continue down the path of aggression and watch your civilization slowly die as the galaxy moves forward without you. Vexstar looked around at his crew, at his failing ship, at the rescue vessels approaching to save them. For the first time in his career, he understood that true power didn't come from the ability to destroy, but from the ability to create and maintain. Captain Rodriguez, he said formally, I would like to discuss the possibility of Krillian membership in the Terran network. Elena's smile was warm and welcoming. I was hoping you'd say that, Commander. Welcome to the future. As the rescue vessels began restoring power to the Crimson Talon, Vexstar realized that his invasion fleet had become something far more valuable, the first step in his people's evolution. From conquerors to partners in the greatest cooperative venture in galactic history, the age of conquest was over. The age of cooperation had begun. And it all started with a species that had learned to defend themselves, not through strength, but through indispensability. Asterisk.